What's going on, guys? It's your boy Bo, and we're back with another video today. And in today's video, we're going to be revisiting the whole pro loadout and settings video. Not to say that my first video was bad, but this video is a little bit more catered to the higher skilled players, higher MMR, once you start getting in those higher tiered lobbies. This is where this video is really going to help you out. And also want to give a quick shout out to JMauler. He was voted the #1 best beater, not only in the league, but I would say on the game. He is the #1 best beater. He gave me his loadout and his opinions on his loadout. I'm going to be sharing those with you guys. So, yeah, big shout out to JMauler. So if you will, go follow him on Twitch. Go watch some of his live streams, because if you're really wanting to get better as a beater, that's who you need to be watching. Like I said, his link will be in the description if you go check him out. And once again, shout out to you, JMauler. Alright, so just getting into the actual controls and settings, I have changed a few things since the last video. Mainly, right here you can see my sensitivities went from 1 to 100. I like to make those little tight maneuvers, so especially in those higher tier lobbies, you're going to be wanting to zipping around the pitch as fast as you can, making those tight turns, getting those tackles in. And this really helps out with that, or at least for me. I play on 100. Another thing that you'll notice, I don't use focus cam anymore. I know in my first video I harped on a lot on using focus cam, but I'm trying to break the habit of using focus cam, because the more I play with it, so I start figuring out that focus cam is actually bad for you. So what I mean by that is, if you use focus cam, you don't get the auto lock on for the quaffle or player tackles or anything like that. So if you use focus cam and you go to tackle somebody, you'll no longer have the lock on to tackle them. So you'll pretty much have to run straight into him in order to get the tackle. And I really don't like that. You could get used to like using focus cam and then turn it off when you get ready to tackle somebody, but me preferably, I would rather just not use it at all. And it's the same for the quaffle. If you go to, let's say the quaffle is live or nobody's in possession of it, you go to grab it, you're not going to get that auto lock on if you use focus cam. So if you turn it off, you'll actually get the prompt to push X or whatever your action button is to grab it, and it makes it so much easier just to grab the quaffle. Another couple settings that I use, camera zoom. Obviously, I'm a big advocate for camera zoom. What it does is you click it and it makes your camera zoom out farther. So if you're a seeker, if you're a beater, you're really going to be able to see a lot more around you. So you can dodge bludgers better. You can go for bumps as a seeker if you need to. You can just see a whole lot more. So I'm a big fan of camera zoom. Rear cam I only really use if I'm going for backwards shots. Let's say I'm in the back zone of the pitch and I'm trying to get back in front of the goals to score. So what you can do is you can actually look backwards, and you can throw the quaffle behind you if you use that rear cam. So you can actually like go forward, maybe throwing it backwards, and you can score that way. That's really the only thing I really use rear cam for, and even then it's super rare. So these other settings, these are pretty straightforward. You can copy these if you want. This is just what's most comfortable to me. Once again, my secondary action is my left stick. I really recommend people use left stick because your thumb is already on your left stick if you're seeking. Or if you have the qualifier and you're trying to go upfield, you can just click that left stick in, do a shovel pass, or you can do a bump. Just real convenient for you. And of course, all these, I haven't really messed with these. My strafe sensitivity I bumped up. I don't play keeper, but if I ever do, I like having that extra strafe sensitivity. So, if you like it, do it. If you don't, you don't. So going over into gameplay, I upped my vertical camera tilt because a lot of people really didn't like that I played on 1. So I've started experimenting on 100. I think I might like 100 better. It doesn't really make that much of a difference, but I play on 100 now. Now, audio, the only thing that I do different would I turn my music volume off just because I play, probably 40 hours a week. And I really don't like listening to the music the entire time, so I turn my music off. I also turn my crowd volume down, because if you turn your crowd volume down, you really notice how much quieter it gets on the pitch. You can hear a whole lot more. So I play with my crowd volume down and my sound effects volume down a little bit, just because you don't really need it. Definitely recommend the crowd volume though. So the only thing I've changed on here on the accessibility page is my color vision mode. I play on whatever this word is. I'm not even going to try to say it because I'll probably screw it up. But it pretty much makes your team green and the enemy team like a pinkish red. I find it a little bit easier, especially if you're going for keeper rings. So way easier to see. Not that they were hard to see to begin with. I just prefer them to be green. But that's pretty much all my settings as far as what's been updated. So let's go ahead and get into some of those classes. Alright, so we're into my classes now. We're going to start from left and go to right. My keeper build, this is what I've been told is meta. I mean, take this with a grain of salt. So most people run a 6-1-3. So I don't ever play keeper. I just, put the 6-1-3 on because that's what other people run. And I'm assuming, it's good since that's what most people run. And for the broom on the keeper, I've heard a lot of people use the Swift stick. I actually don't have it unlocked. I don't really plan to unlock it because I don't play keeper. But that seems to be the meta that most keepers are running, are the Swift stick with the 6-1-3 loadout. Alright, so now going over to the beater class, like I said, this is JMauler's class. Alright, so what the number one beater runs on his class is a 5-4-1. And for his brooms, he said he really likes using the Oak Shaft and the Storm Rider just due to the maneuverability compared to the Firebolt. A lot of people or a lot of beaters in the scene use the Firebolt, but it doesn't have as much maneuverability, so that's why JMauler prefers to use the Storm Rider and the Oak Shaft. He also said if you are a die-hard Firebolt user, he does recommend 505 or a 136 build. So with JMauler's 541 build, what it does is pretty much just disables the enemy beater the entire game. So it's a little bit more focused on more of a quaffle game, so you're able to play Chaser most of the time and only switch to beater once the snitch comes out and you can really help out your Seeker. Alright, so going into my Seeker build, what I run and what a lot of other people are tending to run right now is 055, and it heavily relies on being able to bump the enemy Seeker. So one, not only do you do pretty significant damage, but you also steal up to 10% snitch meter is really kind of what you're going for. So what other Seekers in the league are starting to do right now are run a 046 build, which I mean I don't really see an issue with. For me personally, I do like that extra 5 meters away that you can, that you can gain snitch meter for. So with the 046 build, you sacrifice that 5 meters and you also gain the snitch ring blocking, which says flying through a snitch ring makes it disappear after 1 second. So you pretty much stop the other Seeker from going through rings and getting extra boost. But at the same time, I feel like in a pro setting or a pro league, most pro seekers know how to manage their boost wisely. So, I mean, I don't really think taking their rings away is really going to hurt them if they're really good. So I would rather just have that 5 extra. But anyways, that is my Seeker build, and I'll run a Firebolt with it. It's a maxed out Firebolt. It's the fastest and the best acceleration in the game. So, and for my last roll, the Chaser, so I'll run a 226 build. So with my 226 build, it's really kind of targeted towards tackling and getting that extra boost, kind of like I said in the first video. So my tackling does extra damage, so I can pretty much, if I wanted to, I could just fly around and hit people, and it does. I know if you hit a single person, if they have full health, if you hit them 5 times, it'll elim them. But most of the time, your beater can hit them with a bludger, and you can do, I think it's 2 hits to finish them off, which is real convenient. And for the other two, I mean, the only thing I really run on quaffle handling, I just like that faster throw and teamwork. I like being able to stay behind my teammates and get that extra boost. So yeah, that is pretty much my new loadout and settings video. And once again, I want to give a quick shout out to JMauler for giving me his loadout and kind of explaining it for us. And until next time, guys, this has been your boy Bo, and I will see you on the Quidditch pitch.